Joining us now is Ross Chastain, the driver of the #1 car for Trackhouse Racing. Ross, you're no stranger to headlines. You had the famous Hal Mellon move at the playoffs at Martinsville last year. Back in the headlines again for the punch at Kansas. So, I gotta ask, between the two incidents within this last year, which one did you get more media attention for?
Oh, that Hail Melon, man. That thing went worldwide. And we had F1 drivers and it made I mean both of them made Sports Center, but one for a lot better reason, one for not so good.
Were you what was your reaction when they banned the move? Were you happy now you could be like the only one to say you did it, or I mean you kind of took away cool moment. What was your reaction when they banned it?
Yeah, I mean, I was glad they didn't ban it for Phoenix for our championship race. I mean, we do make rules changes and updates in NASCAR throughout the year. But hey, let's live on the edge a little, and it didn't present itself to work, in my opinion, for Phoenix. So, that was I wanted to just beat the other three guys straight up, but unfortunately we finished second. And then going to this year, NASCAR was getting a lot of feedback and opinions, and I didn't really have one. I told them just make the rules, please, and let us go race, and I will try to beat the other competitors within the rules. So that's all I asked for. And the Hail Melon and the wall wrap, that was actually the second rule that they made about us earlier in the year at Indianapolis. I had used an access road that is there to use anytime you want, and I just did it a little too good, and we almost won the race, and they ended up penalizing us after. So
Was that planned then when you used the access road there, knowing you want to avoid all that chaos, or was it just kind of like I can't make this turn, I'm just gonna take it?
no, no, it was we were restarting fourth, and I'd actually gotten to the left side of AJ Allmendinger, an incredible road racing talent and a guy that's taught me a lot, and I've looked up to him. And I was able to outbreak him and get to his left, but then we had to make a right hand turn. But then it was going to be set up for another left, so I thought I may be okay if I can hang out here. And then I saw smoke out my right window, and I looked over, and there was somebody coming in way too fast, going to hit everybody. And turns out they did all crash, and I would have been right there in it. So even with the penalty, I'll take it because we probably finished about where we would have if we'd have been in the crash, and we kept the car clean. So it was worth it. It was a total reactionary move to I'm on the wrong side of the road here, and they're already starting to run into each other, and it's only going to get worse. So let me take this access road they've provided for us.
So now shifting to St. Louis, had you raced at Gateway at all in trucks or Xfinity prior to last year when they came here?
I had, man. So I've got a very unique, history here. So I came here for the first time in 2018 and starting part. I had never been here. It's a track that's been on the truck and Xfinity schedule off and on for decades, and I'd never been here. So when the opportunity came up, actually where Justin Marks was getting in the Cup car I was normally driving for Sonoma, I took a truck opportunity in St. Louis Gateway to start and part. So I came out here with the team. They filled it up with gas. They put one set of tires on it, and we qualified and started the race. And then when it ran out of gas, we pulled in the garage because we had no pit crew, we had no plans to race, we had no sponsors, but we all made a little bit of money, and that's just part of the back of the pack, the back of the garage. It's part of life, and I've done it a few times in my career. It's not something I'm super proud of or that I like to do. I don't ever want to do it again, honestly, but it's just part. It's part of the business. So that was 2018. A few weeks later, we go and we win Las Vegas in the Xfinity car, the first win ever. And some of the bosses at CGR at the time told me that I was done starting parking. I'd never do it again. And I said, well, let's never say never. And we come back in 2019 with Nice Motorsports and win the race on a late no tire fuel only call. So back to the no tires, same as the starting park the year before. We were able to hang on and win. So I've started parked, I've won, and now I've ran a cup race at Gateway. So some not so fun and some really fun memories, but fun place to go nonetheless.
Yeah, what did you think of the event last year? Just as far as like first time Cup Series going there compared to like other tracks you've been to?
Well, the first thing that stands out is the bomb they set off on the backstretch. We were on the pace laps, and I see this flame go up, and I could feel the heat. Now, I don't know if it was just my mind playing tricks on me because it seems kind of odd that I would feel it, but I swear I felt like the heat from this explosion, and it was a massive bomb they set off. Just pyrotechnics, fireworks, and a big old bomb. So it just felt good though. It felt new, even though the track's not new. It's not in a you know growing part of town. The promoters there and everybody at Worldwide Technology has invested a lot, and they have they got Cup racing there. So it felt cool. It felt it felt good. We raced at a lot of places. Let's instead of having doubles at a lot of tracks, let's go to some different places and spread the love.
I know you were one of the main storylines in the race last year. I'm sure it probably wasn't for the reasons you wanted to be necessarily, but you avoided a couple drivers trying to tag team and take you out and still finish in the top 10. I guess, can you kind of describe how that race went for you? And was there anything you learned from racing there now with the new next gen car that you think will apply and help you this year?
Yeah, well, I'm glad that the two guys that were tag teaming, like you said, on me are now they're busy with each other. So hopefully the only time they think of me is when they're eating their watermelon here after lunch. Look, I learned a lot and definitely hit Denny too hard that first time when I tried to move him and wrecked him. That's not what I wanted to do, but I got to pay the penalty for that later in the year and ultimately at Pocono losing that race. So um, you know I'm human, so I'm gonna continue to evolve and whether it's dealing with other drivers' attitudes or it's just the racecraft. I've studied now for an entire year of seeing what we did right and wrong last year at Gateway, and hopefully we're able to take that next step in speed and have a shot to win.
I'm sure you're sick of people asking about it, but I'm fascinated with like the sports psychology because you're an aggressive driver. Sometimes you put guys in uncomfortable positions. I'm sure you've seen all the memes on Twitter or other drivers calling you out, but yet it seems like you've continued to be aggressive. So I does it bother you at all when you see all that stuff, or like how are you able to block it out because you continue to be successful despite, I guess, a lot of outside noise?
I'm a human being, so I don't want people to hate me or dislike me. So that's just naturally in my DNA. But I am. I mean, they got me quoted saying it recently, and I didn't even know I really said it this way, but I'm comfortable making other drivers uncomfortable, and that's the truth. Like if they're a little uncomfortable, it's okay. I'm uncomfortable around some of them. I just don't go blurt it to a media member, right? Or when I get a microphone, I don't just use that platform to tear down somebody. Um, I'm here to race, and they are too. So, um, getting through the public side of what they're saying and really honing in on what they're actually meaning. If they're a little uncomfortable around me. It's okay. Just race me. Let's race and see who wins.
So St. Louis, as we mentioned earlier, they added the Cup schedule. I know they're trying to go to a bunch of different tracks. Like you guys went to the Coliseum a couple years ago, going to Chicago later. As a driver, do you like the fact that NASCAR is trying to expand to these other areas, or would you prefer? Because I know for Chicago, for example, that's received a lot of criticism, like they should be going more to our own markets. They know it's dangerous in Chicago. Are you excited to go to like new markets like that and new opportunities, or would you rather stick to kind of what NASCAR has traditionally done, or maybe go to some older tracks?
I am excited. Now I think we should still be racing it out in Joliet at Chicagoland Speedway. I think for all the places we go, the reasons that we don't go to Chicago are silly. And I don't really know how that one fell through the cracks. It's an awesome track, puts on great racing, and let's take one from a double header we have, a 2 times a year track and give it back to Chicago. And we can still race in the city. It's two totally different markets. I mean, it's the street race. I'm not saying that from a competition side, I'm totally stoked about it because it's a lot of 90-degree turns, and I'm a guy that tends to attack the corner, and I need some runoff when I mess up. I need some grass or some gravel. Get me stuck in the sand. I don't care, but to hit a concrete barrier that's temporarily set there right on the curb of the sidewalk. Um, it just personally for me, it doesn't reward my driving style all the time because I'm bound to mess up at some point. And but I love that we're going to new places. Let's go where we've never been before and continue to push that forward.
You've won on a road course, you've won on a super speedway. It seems like you're fast in the intermediates. Is there a specific type of track that you prefer, or you feel like you can show up and race anywhere?
Man, I prefer a just good old circle track. It's pretty wild that we won on a super speedway and a road course. And we're working, just as hard as ever to get that first true traditional oval win. It's not lost on us that we haven't done that as a team yet. So we're working hard. So I prefer just a good, pretty flat, short track. But the NASCAR circuit is more diverse than ever, and I'm here for it.
When was the moment? Because you talked about having to start in park in 2018, and I know it's hard to get to the Cup Series as it is. Like when you got there, what was there ever a moment where you were like, yeah, I can hang with these guys? Or like I guess when it kind of clicked, like, yeah, like after going through all that, like I am just as good as any of these guys.
Well, I was confident, you know, after my first Cup race. I mean, I was scared to death for my first Cup race in 2017 at Dover. I just thought Dover, I was running all three. I was worried I'd get tired. I was worried that I would do something silly and wreck one of the superstars of our sport. And we got through that race and finished 20th, and it was we celebrated it more than a win. I mean, we couldn't have celebrated any harder than we did. So, but I still didn't know how I would truly race around these guys. There's a lot of attrition in that race. So, one that stands out is Nashville in 2021 in the 42 car. We had made some progress on our high horsepower, low downforce package, and we went there that weekend and finished second and was in contention really all weekend, all day. So I remember flying home from Nashville that next morning and just thinking, if I can just put together weekends like that, fast in practice, I missed it in qualifying, but then drive forward in the race, and it's gonna be okay because we'd had a tough season that my first year full time in Cup in 2021. So Nashville was a just by myself, headphones on the airplane, looking back through the weekend. I thought, if we can put together weekends like that, we can do this.
Justin Marks always talks about how Trackhouse does things differently, and it's led to a lot of success for you guys. With racing with other teams and now coming here to Trackhouse, what is it that they do differently, I guess, from other teams that helps make you guys so successful?
Starts with the attitude at the top. Justin and Pitbull just they lead by example of being positive and wanting to do more. They're not satisfied with just racing or even just winning. They want to go on. Trackhouse is and will be more publicly in the future, more than just a NASCAR Cup team, which there's a lot that goes into being a 2-car Cup team in NASCAR, but it will be bigger than that. So I don't have one little thing. I also don't want to tell all of our secrets, but it just starts at the top and the attitude. And when we hear Justin talk, whether it's directly to us or publicly, he has a unique way of motivating. And for us that work for him, we listen to him and what he says goes, and he motivates us in cool ways.
Finally, confidence heading into this weekend. Are we going to see the one car in victory lane here?
Man, I plan on it. I don't. So crazy because we just show up. We have minimal practice, and then we go off and race. And last week for the 600, for the World 600 was no practice and straight into the race. So, hot weekend, and it just seems so wild that we can sit here and talk about the car I'm driving having a chance to win a Cup race. It's still a bit surreal for me, but we prepare to win, and if the opportunity presents itself, we'll be there to grab it.
Well, best of luck this weekend and the rest of the way. First in the points, so I mean that's gotta, like you said, it's you got a race winning car every week, so that's gotta be pretty cool.
Yeah, it is.